Hello all, I am back from yet another long delay in between videos. This one, my delay, I actually do have quite a few excuses. I got sick at one point, had technical difficulties with the computer and had to get all that fixed and everything, and a bunch of just other random crap like that got in the way. But the video is here now, and I definitely have a big topic to talk about. Obviously, this is the first video of November, which means that my top 10 matches from October 2015 is gonna be part of this video as well, but I'm gonna save that for the end. But yeah, the major topic at hand here is obviously the major developments with the WWE at the moment, namely the status of Seth Rollins, who unfortunately suffered a knee injury and will have to vacate the WWE title, and now Survivor Series is going to be centered around crowning a new champion. Obviously, you got to feel bad for Seth. I mean, this is a guy that was put into the top heel spot. He won the title at WrestleMania through the Money in the Bank cash-in. That was a great ending to the show. Regardless of what anybody thought of this particular WrestleMania, I think everybody pretty much universally loved the ending to this year's WrestleMania because it had never been done before, and it was a nice surprise and everything. Not necessarily a surprise, but it was just a nice, energetic way to end the show, and just a nice little big headline to go out on. And Seth has been the champion ever since, and really he's been the guy that's been the center of all their major storylines, unfortunately, he has been the recipient of some horrible booking and storylines. Like the feud with Kane was terrible. The way he's booked week to week has been terrible. He loses most of his matches and is made to look like a punk. And he so much so that it just winds up, it goes against him being a heel, and I just wind up feeling bad for him. And I just wind up, I kind of pull for him because it just feels like all the obstacles are put in front of him. And, he has people constantly telling him, oh, you haven't proven yourself, or whatever. And, he gets beat up all the time. Most Raws end with him getting beat up, So it's like, all right, who's the heel here and who's the face? Because really it's like Seth is constantly booked as the one that has to overcome shit. When, he's the heel, he should be the guy in charge that, guys are striving to beat. Yeah, he's done the best he can with what he's been given, which has not been much. But I don't think anybody with a brain, I don't think, would blame Seth Rollins for the poor quality of Monday Night Raw. It's not his fault that the shows have been terrible. It's not his fault that the writing is bad. He's just the guy that's in the position doing the best he can to try and make it work. He's kind of like, I guess that's a similarity you can draw to Shawn Michaels, where I just, in 96, everybody was saying, it's like, oh, see, Shawn Michaels isn't a draw because WCW is beating them in the ratings or whatever, and, WWF is on a downturn. And I was like, dude, Shawn is one of the only reasons I watched the show. The show's terrible, and let's blame Shawn Michaels for the status of the WWF and not blame the fact that the show's just not very good in general. It's so easy to blame the champion, but there's so many other factors that come into play. But Seth is kind of like, he's cut from that same cloth where it's like, dude, he works his ass off to try and make everything he's given work. It's just the material he's given is dog crap. And I feel bad for him because he worked so hard and was on this run and he did the best he could with what he was given, and then he gets hurt and there's no payoff to his whole title reign, which is unfortunate. And we're really in a bad situation right now because I look up and down the roster. I have no friggin' clue who you give the belt to at this point. I really don't. It's just, there's just not much to work with. Cena's out right now. He's taking time off. Orton's hurt. Lesnar's a part-timer, so they're not going to, I doubt they're going to pull him in for Survivor Series. Kane, I don't think that'd be a very good idea. Undertaker's a part-timer, so that wouldn't be very good. Plus he's already been champion like 6 or 7 times, so, I mean, do we really want to, go down? If you want to keep the show exciting and interesting, do you really want to keep putting the belt on the people that have had it 8 or 9 times or more than that? God, I mean, Sting's probably not available, and he probably wouldn't be able to have a decent run with the belt anyway. Um, there's not much to work with. There's just not a whole lot to work with if you look up and down the roster. And then they have a bunch of guys like the Cesaros and the Dean Ambroses and the Dolph Zigglers and the Rusevs and those guys. All talented guys, all for one reason or another. It's like, yeah, I like this thing about them. I like that thing about them. They're very likable. They cut good promos. They're good workers, great athletes. They've got a great look, whatever. Various different reasons for liking all of those guys. The problem is that they've been booked so poorly that it doesn't feel like they're up to that level. So if the plan is to put the belt on any one of them, they have to basically do a complete rush job to get them back up to that level in time for Survivor Series to win the title. Probably the top names, the top. This is what we're working with here. The top names that you could put the belt on are Bray Wyatt, which I don't think they're going to do because the Undertaker match is going to be one of the major. It really is the major attraction of Survivor Series this year. I mean, it's on all the promotional material, the 25th anniversary of Undertaker's debut. So I highly doubt that they're going to scrap that match just to put the belt on Bray. So just by virtue of the fact that he's wrapped up in something else at the moment and is going to be doing something else at Survivor Series, is going to be doing that big match, I doubt he's even going to be a part of the tournament. He would probably be... based on what he is right now, he would probably be my number one choice to take the belt, but I don't think he's going to be part of the process in determining who wins the vacated title just because he's going to be working the Survivor Series match with Undertaker. It's going to be him, the Wyatts versus Undertaker, Kane, and God knows who else they got on their side. But, yeah, there's just not... there's not an opening for Bray to be in the tournament, I don't think, unless they drastically just switch things around. I mean, who knows? It was supposed to be Jerry Lawler fighting the Hart family at Survivor Series 93, and they replaced him with Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels has knights for some reason. Okay. Which, I mean, granted, that was a case of where... personal issues got in the way and had to drastically change that match. But yeah, I don't see them changing the Undertaker Wyatt match at Survivor Series this year. So Bray's probably not going to be in the tournament. Other top options, believe it or not, are maybe Sheamus, and I only say that because he's the Money in the Bank winner. That's the only reason, because they've done virtually nothing with him. They've he's boring as all fuck, but he is the Money in the Bank winner. So is they're gonna, they could do something with Sheamus where he wins the title, but also has the Money in the Bank. That's an idea I've had for years. Where it's like, wouldn't it be interesting if the Money in the Bank winner managed to actually win the title before cashing in the Money in the Bank? So that way he has both the title and the Money in the Bank. So if you're gonna take the title from him, you have to beat him twice. And that's an idea I've had, and really the genesis of me having that idea was when Edge won the Gold Rush tournament back in 2005 while he was the Money in the Bank. He was the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, and I thought, so you can still earn title shots while you hold the Money in the Bank. That's interesting. So what if Edge won the title? You'd have to beat him twice to get the belt from him. They didn't go all the way with that idea, but it's an idea that they could play with at some point. I don't think Sheamus is the best guy for that. I would not have given Sheamus the Money in the Bank contract to begin with, but whatever. This is the hand we've been dealt. So Sheamus is an option. And really, like, if I'm taking Bray out of the equation, the number 2 guy to win the belt would probably be Roman Reigns. This is probably Roman's chance to win the belt and not have a whole lot of people get too upset about it, because it's like, I mean, who the hell else do you put the belt on? I don't know. I mean, yeah, you can throw Dean Ambrose out there and Dolph Ziggler and all those other guys I listed, Rusev, Cesaro, maybe Del Rio, but he just came back, so he's still like kind of, I don't know if fans are like used to seeing him back yet, so he would be an odd choice. It's just, there's just not a whole lot to work with. Kevin Owens, he's, I love Kevin, but he took some big hits after the Cena feud, after, it's like, yeah, the first match was great, and then they felt the need to have Cena go over twice in a row and then do the same segment on Raw every single week to build the feud, and it just got boring and repetitive. And he's kind of he's the Intercontinental Champion now, but he's kind of been floundering creatively since then. It's just him. He's just kind of a guy that's there. So if they're going to push one of those guys to the title, they've got to do a lot to really kind of reinforce them and build them up to that level, and they don't have a whole lot of time to do it because Survivor Series is just a few weeks away. So Roman might be the guy. Roman might be the guy to go with at this point, just by virtue of the fact that they've put enough build-up into him. He's already the number one contender. He's a Royal Rumble winner, WrestleMania main eventer, so there's some level of credibility, built-in credibility there. And they were pushing it. Like I said, they were going to push him to the main event for this pay-per-view. Dean Ambrose, I could see him turning heel. I think that's something that was in the works. It at least felt like it was in the works. So maybe they could do something where if they're going to make Dean Ambrose a worthy heel champion, or if they're going to make him a worthy champion, turning him heel and just completely rejuvenating the character might be the way to go. But I don't know what you do. I'm at a loss right here. It's I don't know what you do without Seth. It's this kind of fucks everything up. It kind of and it's not that Seth was a horribly booked champion. I said that. I've been saying that for months. But they did invest a lot into him and keeping him in that spot. And now that he's gone, there's no suitable number two to really take his place. They didn't really. There's just not a whole lot to go, especially with Cena gone and with Orton gone and various other things. But man, it's a really tough situation right now, and I'm not even, like I said, I'm just spitballing and throwing ideas out there. It's just, it sucks that we're losing Seth, and there's just I don't know what they do to make up for it. It's just it's not looking good. It's just not looking good at all. But it makes, in a weird way, it does make Survivor Series more interesting because it's all right, well, I've got to find out who the new champion is. I don't even know who they're going to put in the tournament, or even how many guys are going to be in the tournament. So it's all speculation at this point. But for right now, I would count on Roman Reigns winning the tournament and becoming the champion. But again, we shall see. Seth, I believe they said he's going to be gone 6 to 9 months, so he's going to miss WrestleMania, which that's a heartbreaker for Seth, because this was going to be his big main event year. I mean, he was going to, regardless, he was going to go into WrestleMania as the heel champion. I'm convinced. Whatever the plan was for WrestleMania, I've heard ideas of the Shield triple threat being thrown out there, and that's where the Dean Ambrose heel turn that we've all been speculating for a while, I think it was going to eventually lead into a Shield triple threat main event at WrestleMania 32, which would have been great. Or at least would have, if they booked everything right and put all the pieces in place, could have been a really, really cool main event match. That doesn't appear to be possible now, unfortunately. But we'll see where everything goes. And, man, a lot of guys getting hurt in the WWE. They've lost Bryan. Orton's hurt. Seth is hurt. And these are the full-time guys, not the... I mean, Sting got hurt in his last match, but he was part-time anyway. So it's not it's not like they were going to lose a guy that was going to be a main fixture of the show. Yeah, it's, I don't know, it's weird. Maybe there's something to be said for the schedule that these guys work, because they go out there, I mean, you look at what these guys do to each other. They work these, crazy, high-flying, breakneck speed style matches on house shows and on Raw every week and on SmackDown and on pay-per-views once a month. You gotta wonder if there's just a lot of wear and tear going on here, and that's what's going on. Maybe it's time to kind of scale it back a little bit, do more squash matches on Raw. Just saying, so they're not overly exerting themselves all the time. But yeah, sorry to lose Seth. I feel really bad for him, and this was his big run. And granted, it wasn't booked the way that it should have been, but Seth is a talented guy, and I did enjoy watching him whenever he did have something good to work with. So. Here's hoping for a nice recovery, and here's hoping sometime in 2016 Seth Rollins comes back better than ever. But right now, the WWE title situation, it's interesting. It is certainly interesting. We'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Now that we have the main topic out of the way, let's jump into my list for the top 10 best wrestling matches of October 2015. A list made up entirely by me because I'm a genius, and by genius I mean I watch this shit way too frequently, and I have too much time on my hands. But let's go into the list. Alrighty, starting at number 10, we have an NXT match from the October 28th episode: Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa versus Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. If you've watched my videos recently and you see how critical I am of Ring of Honor and some of the way they do their tag matches, especially the Young Bucks, who are the biggest offenders of this, anytime you get good basic tag team wrestling, it's a lot of fun and it's really satisfying, more so than it probably should be. But because it's so rare that anytime I get like good solid tag team action, it's really enjoyable. And NXT, their tag matches are better than anybody else's around right now because they actually work solid tag team matches with tag team psychology, and the matches are exciting and very good. And you look at this match right here. Jordan and Gable got over huge at the last Takeover special with their match. They came up short and were defeated, but I think they won a lot of people over with their performance, and they followed it up here with this match against Gargano and Ciampa and just had a great showcase. Just a really exciting match, and they're going to be a huge breakout team for NXT. I think there's a lot of great things for them because not only are they great athletes, not only do they work really well together, not only do they have great chemistry in the ring and work really good matches, they're really funny and they're really entertaining. I saw a promo on NXT last week where they were calling themselves the world's greatest tag team, but oh wait, we can't use that name. And they were going to challenge the Ascension to a match, the best tag team in NXT history, to prove themselves. And Jason Jordan said something like, yeah, we should challenge the greatest team in NXT history. And Chad Gable's like, well, come on, Jason, we can't do that. Can't wrestle ourselves, come on. And it was just, the bit was so funny, and they've done a lot of funny bits like that. And Chad Gable, he's a gold mine, I think, and Jason Jordan is a tremendous athlete, so I think they complement each other really well, and I think they're a really strong team. And this match right here that I've just highlighted at the number 10 spot is a great example of that. Number 9, a TNA match made the list. Hooray! It's always rare, but always appreciated when they can deliver something I like. From the October 7th episode, this was one of the early matches in the World Title Series. It was Ethan Carter III versus Austin Aries. Austin Aries, who filmed a bunch of matches from like 3 or 4 months ago, which is what they're airing currently on TNA, but in any case, you just shrug your shoulders at it. But as far as just being a really solid match in this tournament that they're doing, this is probably the best match I've seen in the tournament so far. It went to a time limit draw, but it was just a really exciting match and really showed just how good Austin Aries is. It makes you remember, it's like, man, this guy can be really, really good. And EC3 is, I say it all the time, he's by far the best thing in TNA these days. That doesn't say a whole hell of a lot, but he's the best thing they have. So, you got a really good talent in Austin Aries. You got the best thing in the company in EC3. You put them together, makes for a really good match. So, TNA had a good one this month. Number 8, from NXT TakeOver Respect, Tyler Breeze versus Apollo Crews. This was Apollo's first real match in NXT, because before this he'd pretty much just done squash matches. This was his first real match against a guy who was an established talent in NXT, and it was basically... Tyler Breeze has now been moved up to the main roster, and I think the match with Samoa Joe was kind of the end for him, which is it's unfortunate that Tyler never really never got the NXT title. I always hoped that one day he'd get it, but in any case, this was Apollo's first real match. He was in there against a guy who always works hard, who always manages to bring out the best in the guys that he works with. And I thought him and Tyler went out there, had a very, very good match that really showed that Apollo isn't just a body, and he's not just power moves, that the guy can actually put a good match together, or at least, I'm not the one that put the match together, so I don't know who to applaud for it. But overall, it's another good example of Tyler's solid body of work, and an example that Apollo can definitely work well when put in there. With talented guys. Not that Apollo's untalented. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, he's a fresh talent. He's new to NXT, and this was a good stepping stone for him to get him noticed and gain a little bit more respect from the fan base, that he can actually have solid matches with when the time comes. He actually, his match with Finn Balor for the title was actually pretty solid too. So Apollo, he's going to be a good mainstay for them, I think, and he's just gonna, the sky's the limit for him. I see a lot of potential in Apollo Crews, and Tyler Breeze was a great opponent for him, because Tyler works well with just about anybody. I can't sing Tyler Breeze's praises enough, but I really like that match. Number 7 from Ring of Honor's Field of Honor show. Kazuchika Okada versus Roderick Strong. They seem to do these, these interpromotional matches all the time between New Japan and Ring of Honor, and it's usually a pretty nice treat. And Okada and Roderick, they went out there, just had a really good match. And Okada is probably one of my favorite workers to watch now in professional wrestling. I just love the way the guy works, and the way he does stuff, the way he does it with flair. It's kind of got like a. He's not. It kind of reminds me of Shawn Michaels. His style is not the same as Shawn's, obviously, but just the way he carries himself, there's kind of a Shawn Michaels-esque aspect to Okada. And I don't know. He's got a lot of charisma. He's great physically, obviously, and does things differently from everybody else, which helps him stand out. He's just a really, really good talent, and I enjoy watching him. And this was another example of me really, really enjoying watching an Okada match. All right. Also, from NXT Takeover Respect, the tournament matches in the Dusty Road Tag Team Classic. We had Chad Gable and Jason Jordan versus Rhino and Baron Corbin, which was an outstanding match. You got Finn Balor and Samoa Joe versus Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson, which was very good. And then you had the finals, which was Finn Balor and Samoa Joe versus Baron Corbin and Rhino, which was good. I had a couple criticisms of it, but overall it was good. But again, when you see really good tag team action and tag team matches put onto a show, I really gravitate to it, because it's so rarely done well, because it's so often used as filler, or you get the Ring of Honor style where they bounce all over the ring and nothing matters, and tagging in and out doesn't matter, and it gets annoying, and the Young Bucks are the worst, and blah, 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 I'm a cranky old man, whatever, fuck it. But these matches I thought were really, really good, especially the Jordan and Gable versus Baron and Rhino match. I thought was an excellent match, and I think I referenced it earlier. I thought Chad Gable and Jason Jordan won a lot of people over with their performance of that match, and they've only, I think they're going to be a huge breakout team for NXT, and I think they're going to do really well for themselves. Moving right along. Okay, number 5. Tomohiro Ishii versus Togi Makabe for the Never Openweight title from New Japan's King of Pro Wrestling. One of the series of matches I've enjoyed the most this year have been the Makabe Ishii matches for the Never Openweight title. This was their 4th encounter. They started at Wrestle Kingdom 9, had that match that I really, really enjoyed, that hard-hitting, brutal stiff fest. I had 2 really good rematches, and this was their 4th match, where Ishii finally beat Makabe for the title, which was really the difference between this match and all the other ones that they've done. It was just a really, really good, the same old from them. Nothing's quite topped their Wrestle Kingdom 9 match in my eyes, because it's hard to top it when you saw it the first time. You know what I mean? Like, when you see it for the first time, it seems even more amazing when you've never seen anything quite like it. And Makabe and Ishii, I just really like their matches. They're just good. They're slobber knockers. Their matches are just straight up slobber knockers, as JR would put it. Just straight up hard-hitting stiff fests. And this one was just as enjoyable as any of the other ones they've done. So, really enjoyed their series of matches, and they made the list again. Crazy. All right. Next up, number 4, we've got Jay Briscoe versus Adam Page in a no-holds-barred match from Ring of Honor's October 21st episode. And I've also mentioned before that the dates I use are from the Destination America airings, because that's where I see Ring of Honor. It was a match that had been built up for a while, and it had a strong payoff. It was a crazy, wild, hardcore match. With no rules, and they just did whatever the fuck they wanted. But it was exciting and fun to watch, and just a really, really entertaining match, and probably one of the better matches I've seen on the Ring of Honor episodes since I started watching it when they first came to Destination America. It was just a really good, well-done grudge match, and I can't ask for anything more than that. Also, from New Japan King of Pro Wrestling, the main event, Kazuchika Okada defending the title against AJ Styles. This match was nowhere near as good as their match from Dominion, but the Dominion match is one of the top 10 best matches I've seen this year. This one was just a really, 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 very, 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 very good main event. Again, not as good as the Dominion match, but on its own and in the month of October 2015, it was easily one of the best matches of the month. It was fantastic. It was great. It was just more great work from two guys that know how to get it done. I love watching their matches together. They're great. Number 2, gonna give it to Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell match from the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. That might surprise some people because I was so critical of their WrestleMania match. I was somewhat critical of the SummerSlam match. I was critical of the ending to the SummerSlam match, we'll say. This match, there was no bullshit. It had the big match feel that the SummerSlam match had, but they didn't do the bullshit ending. Brock won, which is what needed to happen. So that was fine. That turned out great. And the match was intense. It had, like I said, it had the big match atmosphere. They did some things that were different, like ripping the ring apart, which they hadn't really done before. A couple bells and whistles and stuff like that, but overall the match had that big fight feel, had that big match atmosphere, and they booked it the way that they should have booked it. It was very, very well done. And, probably would have won match of the month if it wasn't for the match that I did give number 1 to. Sasha Banks versus Bayley for the NXT Women's title in a 30-minute Iron Woman match from NXT TakeOver Respect. The match they had at Brooklyn was so well received. That might actually be, when it comes time to do the end of the year awards, that will probably be the match I give match of the year to. The match they had at Brooklyn. Because I can't see another match topping it. The emotion, the payoff, the characters, the story, the excitement, the drama, all of that. It was just perfect. It was just so perfectly well done. And I just don't see it being topped, even by Sasha and Bayley. The Ironman match they had was not as good as the Brooklyn match because you can't top it. The level of drama and the payoff to the whole thing, you can't beat that. However, for these two women to go out there, work a 30-minute match, which no female wrestlers had ever done before in the WWE. This is these are uncharted waters. To go out there and have this outstanding match. I thought outstanding match. Just really well wrestled, well worked, outstanding encounter. They were given the main event spot of the TakeOver special, which is a spot they deserved. They went out there and they tore the house down again, and they just did great all around. So for me, picking a best match in the month of October, even though it's not as good as the last match they had, there's no doubt in my mind that the best match for October 2015 was Sasha Banks versus Bayley in the 30-minute Iron Woman. I keep saying Iron Woman, but they called it Iron Man. The 30-minute spectacle that they had was outstanding. So yes, easy pick for best match of October 2015. So that is my list for this month. Hope you all enjoyed that. And now that I have my top 10 match list for October out of the way, time to list my favorite wrestling brand of the month of October 2015. And for me, this was kind of an easy pick. I went with NXT again. Week to week, their shows are solid, and they, had another stellar TakeOver special with a really unique main event. Different style presentation from the normal TakeOver specials. They did a tag team tournament. They had the women main event. So right off the bat, it has its own identity, separated from all the other TakeOver specials. And overall, it was just a very good show. And the week-to-week show of NXT is good enough to warrant me enjoying it and watching it every week. So really, there's no that one's a no-brainer this month. There's no Lucha Underground around. New Japan, I only watched the one show that they did. Ring of Honor, everything's kind of solid, but not stellar. They're kind of like in this spot where I enjoy watching them, but it isn't like must-see television for me. And TNA is what it is, and WWE it is what it is. But as far as like having a solid weekly show that's entertaining and delivering yet another great special event, NXT was definitely the best brand of the month for October. Future updates for videos. Well, obviously, I'm going to be talking a lot more about Survivor Series than I originally intended as we find out who's in the tournament and who the champion's going to be and all this other stuff. Might have a couple movie reviews up. I'm trying to see a bunch of movies. I haven't seen The Martian yet. I wanted to see that. Spectre came out this weekend. I haven't seen that yet. I'm going to see that on Wednesday because I have the day off on Wednesday. So it's like, yeah, I get to go see James Bond. Great. Yeah, I was originally actually planning on doing a movie review series for the James Bond, like similar to what I did for Godzilla, but I just didn't have the time. I just did not have the time to do it because I am a big James Bond fan, and I like those movies for the most part. Die Another Day, I wish I could forget, but you know, but for the most part, I like the Bond movies quite a bit. I have read all the books too. I love the books. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Spectre. Hopefully I enjoy it. I've heard mixed things about it, but we'll see. I'm one of the few people that actually likes Moonraker. It's like, come on, people! It's the space one. It's hilarious. It's funny. It's like, yeah, it's ridiculous, but it's fun. Come on, lighten up. But yeah, hopefully I like that. I wanted to see the Peanuts movie because I was a big Charlie Brown fan as a kid. The Good Dinosaur I'm going to see because it's Pixar. Obviously Star Wars, I already bought my tickets. And my Star Wars video is going to come sometime in December. I'm mapping out what I'm going to do for that video. So it's probably going to turn out to be a really, really long, rambling video of where I just profess my undying love for Star Wars. But we'll see how that goes. I wanted to see Creed, too. That looked interesting. I at first when I heard they were doing another Rocky movie, I was like, no, the ending to Rocky Balboa was so perfect, don't ruin it. But now that I see that the story's going to focus on Apollo Creed's son and Rocky's just the trainer, like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It's not, you know, even if the movie sucks, it's not going to really ruin Rocky Balboa. So, okay, cool. Well, so I'll check it out, see how it is. Looking forward to it. I think there was another movie I was going to see. I don't remember, but oh well. So yeah, I might have a couple movie reviews up. I got my Star Wars video coming in December, and yeah, so be on the lookout for all that stuff. I might have a bunch of stuff, and obviously in December there's going to be an end of the year awards video where we talk about best wrestling match, best wrestling show, superstar of the year, all that other stuff. So be on the lookout for that. That should be coming sometime in December. But for right now, I am done at the moment. I'm going to go watch some football. Patriots are playing the Redskins right now, so I hope the Redskins win. I hope my NFC East rivals win over the Patriots, but I think I'm asking for a miracle here. But for right now, I am done. Hope you all enjoyed your weekend. And hope you all have a good week, and I will be back with a video sometime this week. I promise no long delays this time, barring anything stupid. But yeah, I'm going to try and have the next video out much, much quicker this time. But until then, I will see you all later.